So I'm Paul Miller. I am the Chief Executive of White Rock Capital. We're a fund based in Northern Ireland. We are locally owned and FCA approved. And we have a team of 8 professionals here in Northern Ireland who come from accountancy, finance and banking backgrounds who effectively work on 2 funds. So those funds are the Growth Loan Fund and also the Growth Finance Fund. So the Growth Loan Fund is an investment fund, part of the suite of Access to Finance programme, and it's a fund that we've now provided over 50 million of lending across the last 5 years into about 130 loans in Northern Ireland. And the typical companies that we're looking for are growing companies that have an export angle. We don't really look at particular sectors. We have been fairly sector agnostic the whole way through. So typical companies we would fund: manufacturing, engineering, pharma, IT, leisure and tourism. So right across the board in Northern Ireland. And we've had a lot of success in that fund so far, just in terms of the companies that we lent to, those companies growing and performing. A good example of loans that have already repaid their loan, the likes of Pure Rose Coffee and Convertech, who have gone on to success after our funding. And another couple of well-known companies, Vita Liberata and Bunt Campers, who have taken our loans and have now successfully sold into international PLCs. So in terms of the funding parameters there, it's typically a company looking for a loan in the £1 to half a million pound range, looking for working capital purposes, so generally to fund the likes of stock, marketing, full-time employees, and effectively the unique thing about us is we sit behind the bank, so effectively the bank has the primary security over their factory, over their debtor book, with a debenture, and we rank in behind that. So we have a very good relationship with banks in terms of that funding. The other investors are InvestNI and Nilgos. And this fund, a little bit different from the first fund, just in terms of the lending parameters. So we can actually go from £500,000 up to 2 million. So it allows us to lend into larger companies than the Growth Loan Fund. And those loans can typically go in for management buyouts or acquisitions or just general growth finance. Again, I suppose what are we looking for in those companies? Again, it's no focus on sectors. It's businesses that are trying to grow. And effectively, again, it's an unsecured lend on our part. So we're not looking to have the primary security. We will rank behind the bank. A little bit more flexibility in this loan, given that the loans are larger, so the term a bit longer. You can kind of go from 3 years up to 7 years, and we'll have a little bit more flexibility just in terms of repayment. So these companies, we will have sort of interest-only periods, part amortisation during the life of the loan, and sometimes bullet repayments at the end. So I suppose the difference between this fund and the first fund is probably a little bit more flexibility, which comes from a larger loan size and just being able to service that larger loan. So look, we're really excited about having these funds in Northern Ireland. We really think we're bringing something unique, just in terms of an ability to fund a business beyond where the bank can get to. So that additional funding on top of bank funding. We have excellent relationships with all the banks. We've done deals with every bank in Northern Ireland, along with lots of the alternative finance providers. So look, if anyone has a business they want us to chat to, please feel free to contact us through our website or through phone, and we can speak to one of our investment directors.